Hi, good afternoon, everybody. How's it going?
All right, we're live. How's everyone doing out there today? Thank you for joining us. My name is John Gardner. This is my law partner and wife, Radlyn Mendoza,
Hello.
and we are the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza. Our office is in Virginia Beach, Virginia, here on the East Coast of the United States. And we come to you every Friday from noon to 1 to give you immigration law updates and answer your questions. So hopefully you've got questions for us today and you can get them loaded up and we will be happy to answer them. However, I do want to warn you that what we do here is for informational and educational and entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment, especially.
Yeah, it is not legal advice. All
Yeah.
right. And I also want to say hi and welcome all the folks joining us on TikTok. We got a lot of people that watch Radlyn's TikToks.
How's it going, TikTok?
I'm sure that they will have questions. They're sometimes slow out of the gate, but then they have a lot of questions.
Yes.
So
Love the TikTok questions. They are awesome and they just keep on coming. But if you have a question, go ahead and post it in the comments. As John said, while we get started here, it is a beautiful day in Virginia Beach, Virginia, where we are located. This is where our office is. And I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but if you didn't, I'll mention it that we represent people all over the world in all 50 states.
I didn't say that. That's true.
And so if you are looking to hire an immigration attorney and you think, oh, well, it can't be Gardner Mendoza, Radlyn and John and their team because they're in Virginia Beach, you can. You can hire us. Yep. And we would love to represent you. And our live stream on TikTok, our live stream here on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, it's to answer your immigration questions and help you move forward in your case. And if you're ready to hire an attorney and you are just done with not knowing, you're done with the updates, you're done with not knowing how long it's going to take and not having any professional support for your case, we are here for you. Give us a call at 757-464-9224. We are super happy we would be super happy to represent you. All right. We have a first question here. As John mentioned, it's 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here that we appear every week. And we used to do this on Wednesday night. So when we said call us, there would be no one there. But if you call us and you can say, hey, I'm listening to Radlyn and John's live stream right now. You can call our office and someone will be there and answer. All right. First question here.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and take the question.
Oh, did you want to say something?
Just public service announcement.
Oh, public service announcement. Fantastic. Love that.
I want to just help all of you. This is not help with immigration. This is just help with having a happy life. Don't forget that Mother's Day is this weekend.
Oh, yes. Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there and for those who are celebrating. Right. So treat your mom right on Mother's Day. I love Mother's Day.
Yeah.
It's the best day of the year, maybe second only to my birthday.
Well, if you haven't, sent your mom flowers or anything, make sure you do it when you get, wait till we're done here in an hour. And then the next thing you should do is something for Mother's Day.
What else? If you're a U.S. citizen and you want your mom to be here in the United States with you, you should also file a petition for your mom on Mother's Day. So U.S. citizen kids out there, a great present would be to finally file that I-130 petition for your mom and your dad in June on Father's Day.
That's a good point. That's right.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right. Buddy Mendoza has a question, and I'm not going to put it on the screen because it covers up the whole screen, but Bunny says, I just came back here in the USA as an immigrant. I've already stayed here in California 20 years ago and had a green card, but was already expired after going back to the Philippines and staying there for 20 years. I wanted to ask if I can use those years I stayed here in the USA for my application for a U.S. citizen. More power to both of you. Thank you, Bunny. More power to you as well. Let me just read that question again and just make sure I understand the question. You're here in the U.S. right now as an immigrant. You were in California 20 years ago had a green card, it was expired, and then you went back to the Philippines and you remained in the Philippines for 20 years. And you want to know if the time that you spent in California is going to apply towards the time in order to get apply for U.S. citizenship. So if I'm understanding it correctly, you had a green card, and maybe because you left the United States and you stayed in the Philippines for 20 years, you had to reapply for a green card. And to answer that, and again, I don't know if that's exactly what the question is that you're asking, but let me just do a general rule because we don't give legal advice here. This is a general rule. So if you receive your lawful permanent residency, okay, if you have a brand new and different card, let's just say your old card was abandoned, and you have a new card and you just got here, and so you've been a lawful permanent resident for 1 year, and you got that green card because, say, your child who is over 21 and a U.S. citizen petitioned for you as their parent. Well, you have to wait 4 years and 9 months as a lawful permanent resident before you can apply for U.S. citizenship. If you have an abandoned green card from previously, you cannot use that previous time in the United States to now go towards the new lawful permanent resident card and status in order to get your U.S. citizenship. Hopefully that makes sense. And I am kind of guessing around this question a little bit, but I think that is what the question is. If it's not, you can take another shot. But it's a really good question. Welcome back, Bunny. Hopefully you're able to stay in the U.S. and go ahead and apply for that citizenship when you have enough time as a lawful permanent resident and living in the United States. All right. Next question.
All right. So Yasmin over here on TikTok wants to know, she says, my husband and I have been married for 4 years since he has his green card and wants to know, can he apply for citizenship? So he's been a green card holder for 4 years.
Okay. So this is Yasmin.
Yep.
I will assume a couple of things here. I'm going to assume that your husband got his lawful permanent resident status, his green card through you, Yasmin, and that you are a U.S. citizen, and that you have been a U.S. citizen for 3 years, and that you have been married for at least 3 years, and that you and your husband have been living together for at least 3 years. So if those are the facts, then your husband can apply for U.S. citizenship at this time early if those things apply to you guys. I hope that helps. If you want more clarification, you might want to hop over to us on Facebook and put a follow-up question there on Facebook at Gardner Mendoza Law is our Facebook page, or you can just put in search Gardner and Mendoza, and it will pop right up. But hopefully I answered your question. I'm gonna say 99.9% answer the question.
Yeah, as Radlyn said, if you want to reach us, our phone number is 757-464-9224, or you can email us info@gmlaw.net. And if you're still looking for more answers when we're done here today, you can also check out Radlyn's TikToks. There's a bunch of them, and she answers a lot of immigration questions there.
Yeah.
A lot of hypotheticals.
And, I just want to say that we come on to this live stream. We know that there is a large population of folks who self-file, and this live stream, I know from feedback from our viewers, helps people move forward. They move forward in the sense that, okay, I just needed that question answered, I'm good to go. Or they move forward and make a decision to go and hire an immigration attorney, which we ultimately want you to do, right? It doesn't matter if you think your case is the simplest case in the whole entire world. You should hire an immigration lawyer.
Absolutely.
And it would be amazing if it were us, but if it's not, that's okay. We want you to get representation because this is the most important thing going on in your life right now. No matter what anyone tells you, it is. and you should hire a professional. I mean, we no longer file our taxes. We did. We used to self-file, but we don't change our oil though, right? We don't rotate our own tires. We hire a professional to do that kind of stuff. So same thing goes here, guys. Your immigration case is very important. Your immigration case, whether you're going for lawful permanent residency, whether it's, oh, I'm just gonna file this, and maybe your case, because you did something wrong, gets derailed for a year. That's a year of potentially not working, right? Yeah. Maybe it's applying for U.S. citizenship. Maybe you think, not a big deal. When I get it, I get it. But you have family members who are waiting, who might want to be petitioned by you, and the longer you wait, the longer that's going to take. So time is money. Not to, it's good to equate this to something, because I think it's something that we can all relate to. Emotional hardship is hard to kind of quantify, right? Like, I really miss my family. I wish they were here. But if you think about it in terms of economics, it makes economic sense for you, for your family, for them to be here, if that's what the game plan is. So
yeah, and there are a lot of pitfalls, as Radlyn said. Even if you think your case is straightforward, and even if you think that, it's just filling out forms, it's so much more than that. And if something does go wrong in your case, your future self is going to just absolutely be very angry at your current self for not just doing whatever you needed to do to make sure that you had a professional handle this and do it right. And Isako over here on TikTok really quickly wanted to know, asks if we're in New York City, and if not, can we represent someone in New York? We're not in New York City. We're in Virginia Beach, Virginia, on the East Coast of the United States. We're about 6.5 hour drive south of New York City. But yes, absolutely, we can represent someone in New York. We have clients, for those of you who didn't tune in at the beginning, we have clients all over the United States. We have clients in New York. We have clients in Florida. We have clients in California, Nebraska, you name it. And we also have clients all over the world, for that matter.
Colorado and Minnesota.
Yep. We have clients everywhere. So it doesn't matter where you're located. Immigration law in the United States is federal, so it applies exactly the same across all of the states. So wherever you are, we can absolutely represent you. All right. Even in New York. We love New York.
We love New York. We went to law school in Newark, New Jersey.
Yep. Spent a lot of time
Seton
in the
Hall,
city.
and we went to the city a lot because we were young and in love. Now we're just in love. Yep. But if you ask a 90-year-old, we are young still, right? It's all relative. So
yes, New York continues to be almost like a second home for us. We love going to New York. A lot of great memories there. Okay.
All right. So let's grab a question over here. Vanessa has a couple of questions. Vanessa has a question. It's a really good one. I'm from Canada and have a remote job. If I get married in the US and stay there until my adjustment of status is completed, can I work my remote job Canadian while in the US before I get my work permit, since I won't be working for an American company? So Vanessa, this is
that does not look like Canada, but
we haven't seen all parts of Canada. Maybe it's Vancouver.
I don't think so.
It could be Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Vanessa,
let us know. But anyway,
where's the photo? Yeah. Get distracted here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No apologies. Remember, this is entertainment purposes only. We want to know.
It looks like she's got a second part of it, just so you're aware there.
She says definitely not. Okay, it's a vacation picture, guys, on TikTok. You see what you're missing here.
She's in Jamaica.
She's in Jamaica. All right. Okay. We've been to Jamaica twice. Love Jamaica. If you go again, go to the Bob Marley Museum in Kingston. Really cool.
Yep.
All right. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, Vanessa, this is a great area. I'm not going to answer the question because it is a gray area. There are a couple of things here in this question. I will say the general rule here, Vanessa, that you can't. It is impermissible. I'm not going to say you can't, because you can. It is impermissible to enter the United States with the intent as a person who's visiting on a tourist stay, with the intent to get married and adjust your status. So it's not a permissible thing. I corrected myself when I say you can't come into the United States with that intent. You can actually come into the United States with that intent, but it's not permissible.
Right.
So that's a gray area. Whether that's going to be counted as working without authorization or not. And I will say that to everyone here, if you work in the United States without authorization and you go through the adjustment of status process based on, let's say, marriage to a U.S. citizen, it is forgiven. Okay. Now, I'm not saying go and work without authorization. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is forgiven during that proceeding. All right.
And then the second part there.
The second part there, Vanessa also wants to know, if we get married outside the United States and apply to immigrate to the United States at the embassy, not while in the U.S., can you still travel in and out of the United States? Or do you have to wait until your immigration papers are processed? Such a great question. And I'm really glad you asked, because I know a lot of people probably have this question. Now, the thing is, when you come in on something like, and you're from Canada, so you don't have a visa, but the purpose is to be a tourist, then it's a non-immigrant intent, right? You're not intending to be an immigrant. But if you have a pending I-130 petition, then you are an intending immigrant. So what you have are two conflicting intents. And so intents. Yeah. Okay. And so if you come in from Canada and you come in and you say, hey, yeah, I'm coming in for a short visit to visit my husband. Maybe you'll have some follow-up questions. Okay, what's the plan? Are you guys, are you sure you're not going to go there and get married and get the green card and do adjustment of status? That's not allowed. It's like, no. Well, it looks like you have an I-130 petition pending. Are you? We're not going to let you in because you have that I-130 petition pending. That is something that can happen, and they can actually turn you away there. But if you are prepared to answer their questions and to show that you are only staying for a short period and for your intended purpose to just visit, you have a return ticket, you've got a job back home, you have your place back home, then they may allow you in. But there is that possibility of being turned around because of the dual intent, and it is not permissible when you're coming to visit the United States. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. All right, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Just going back for a minute to what Radlyn was talking about with the intent. I mean, it happens all the time, but the law is that when you arrive, if you're here and you say, well, I'm just here to be a tourist, I just have always wanted to go to Disney World, and we're going to go visit Disney World and then head home. But your real intention is to meet up with the person you've been talking to online and get married. That's not supposed to happen. But if it does happen, then, you would be able to move forward with the case. But the intent when you arrive is supposed to matter. It does matter.
Right. And if it does happen that you find yourself here in the United States and you find that you came to be a tourist, but now that intent has changed, call us and we will advise you further on what to do.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, if you, with the intent was to go to Disney World, have a great time and go home, but then you fell in love there in the Magic Kingdom, then then it's game on. Okay. For sure.
That made me laugh.
Okay.
We won't go into why that made me laugh, but yeah. Or no, it's just hot. I think the air is off here. But for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about like the Magic Kingdom and everything and falling in love in the Magic Kingdom. I just want to introduce ourselves again. My name is Radlyn Mendoza, and this is my law partner and husband and father of our 3 children. Right. Just if you guys think we're getting a little too chummy here, we are married.
That's right.
Going on 25 years.
25 this October.
Pretty awesome. Anyhow, we are immigration attorneys. We own our immigration law firm in Virginia Beach. We represent clients all over the world in all 50 states And if you want an immigration lawyer to represent you in your case, and you think we would be a good fit, please give us a call, 757-464-9224. Now, a lot of people call us with one-off questions. You don't really want to hire an immigration lawyer. We can't answer one-off questions during a consultation. We answer one-off questions here on our live stream every Friday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We answer them on our TikTok and also on our Facebook page, as well as our immigration Facebook group.
Yeah, this
yeah.
is the proper venue for that. This is
Right.
what we do. You bring your questions. We treat them as hypotheticals. It is not legal advice, and Radlyn answers them. However, if you want more than that, if you are prepared and are you ready to hire an attorney, or you think you may want to hire an attorney and you want to go over your whole case, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to schedule a consultation. But if it's just a question, that's not.
This is the place for the questions.
This is the place for that. Yeah, we don't do full consultations, just to, let you know whether you should check yes or no in the box on question 14 on some form. Okay.
All right.
All right. Next question here over on TikTok.
I guess I don't know what Canada looks like. Since Vanessa's laughing and you knew. I mean,
well, we were just in
Well,
Canada like 3 or 4 years ago. We went to
I
Toronto.
know we went to Toronto, but like that's just one place that we went.
No,
Okay.
that's
Anyway,
true. Okay.
All right.
We move forward.
we move forward.
Okay, the question here on TikTok was, can an SSI recipient, are they okay to petition a fiance? That's supplemental security income for folks who are getting basically Social Security payments because of, say, a disability.
Yeah.
The question is, can that person still go through a process for a fiance, or is that somehow a bar for them moving forward with an immigration fiance case?
So a person on SSI is not per se barred from filing an I-129F if they meet the requirements for the fiance visa. And the general requirements for a fiance visa is: 1, you have to be a U.S. citizen; 2, you have to have seen your fiance within the past 2 years; 3, both of you have the intent to get married within 90 days of your fiance entering the United States, and that you are both eligible to be married, in that you're not married to anyone else, and that you don't have any issues mentally or otherwise that would prevent you from getting married. So those are the general requirements. And this question really goes to the affidavit of support question. And if you can meet the requirements of the affidavit of support, which includes your SSI income, or is it, SSI, then you will most likely meet the threshold requirements for that. But there are threshold requirements for the affidavit of support, and that's really what the question is. But you are not per se barred from filing that if you otherwise meet the requirements. It's just that at the time of your fiance's interview, you have to submit an affidavit of support, and you have to show a threshold amount of income. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. We don't have any more questions here right now. So
all right,
it's TikTok time.
TikTok time. Okay. Theory here wants to know.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Sorry, we have one.
We do.
My bad. I should not have.
Hold on,
but I
Theory,
didn't want Callie to think that we missed. You know how
we go back and forth.
You know how people are sometimes, and I don't want to skip anyone.
All right.
All right. Callie, hi. How's it going?
Sit tight, Theory. We're coming back.
We're coming back. Callie says, hello, good evening, attorney. So Callie must be not in the US, right? Because it's morning here.
That's right.
I would like to ask a question about my situation. Okay, Callie's in the Philippines. I petitioned my mother from the Philippines. The application was approved last September and still waiting for NVC interview. I just want to know if I can quit my job here and go on vacation for a couple of months. Would that affect my mother's papers in the National Visa Center? Okay, great question. So Callie, this is also an affidavit of, okay. She's here.
She's here.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to say that she said, I petitioned my mother from the Philippines. So I was thinking the same thing. She is here. The mother's in the Philippines.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. It's an affidavit of support question. So if you submitted your affidavit of support already, uploaded it to the National Visa Center, and your taxes are sufficient, and your taxes were sufficient in the most recent tax year to meet the poverty guidelines threshold, 125% specifically, then you should be fine with quitting your job and going to the Philippines or going on vacation. I don't know where you're going, but little warning here: you have to show that you are fulfilling the obligations on the affidavit of support and the minimum requirements. Now, if you said, hey, I have not submitted my affidavit of support yet, and you put on your affidavit of support that you're not employed, then that may bring some questions. It may bring just that you're not fulfilling the requirements of the affidavit of support. What's the plan when you get back after a couple of months? Maybe you have a job lined up already, and maybe it's a secure thing. That's fine. As long as your mom, when she goes to that interview, when you update your affidavit of support that you're employed and that you can show that you're still meeting the requirements, it's okay. So hopefully you have a plan. I mean, most people don't. Well, I'm not going to say most people don't quit their jobs with no plans. I did, remember?
I
do. So hopefully you have a plan about, with another job lined up, so you can continue to meet the affidavit of support requirement. Now, that said, if you quit your job and you're like, I'm not going back to work, I'm doing whatever, then if required, you can submit a joint sponsor affidavit of support. That's another person who is a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident who is willing to sign that affidavit of support on behalf of your mom and can meet those threshold income requirements. So, Callie, hopefully that answers your question. I'm totally all about quitting your job and going on vacation for a couple of months, but hopefully you have a joint sponsor or a backup plan that when you get back, you do have a job lined up. All right. But if you don't, joint sponsor.
Okay. Jumping over here to Theory, who is waiting for us to get back to him, wants to know when to expect a work permit if you get fingerprinted on February 7th. So he was fingerprinted on February 7th. So that's that's 3 months ago, right? Yep.
February 7th of 2024.
If you get fingerprint on February 7th.
Oh, okay. Fingerprinted. Sorry. January 7th of 2024. Okay. So generally the EAD work authorization is taking about 9 to 12 months from the time that you file. So if you got fingerprinted in February, which say you filed your case in January, 9 to 12 months from the time that you file.
All right, Theory, 9 to 12 months from when you filed. All right.
I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, are you kidding me right now? Not kidding. It is taking 9 to 12 months. There are some cases where you can get that expedited. And if you think that you have circumstances that warrant expediting your EAD, then that's a possibility of getting it done faster.
All right.
All right.
All right. Real quick, another timing. Well, okay, go ahead. That's right. I broke the pattern there. That's not how we do it.
You broke the pattern.
I was sorry. TikTok. I was trying to squeeze another TikTok in before, but that's all right.
Thea says, how long is the adjustment of status after marriage while in the United States? Spouses on a tourist visa before marriage. Okay.
So by the way, folks, we were talking about this earlier. This is an example where apparently Thea's spouse was here on a tourist visa.
Yeah.
And then met Thea, and then they got married. And so now they're going through a marriage adjustment case. Sorry. Yeah. We were talking about this.
Sounds just like that.
This is exactly what we were talking about a little bit ago.
Or maybe they got married before and came in and circumstances changed and filed for adjustment of status, right?
That's true. That's true. I'm sorry I made assumptions about your marriage, Thea. I shouldn't have done that.
It may not even be for Thea. Could be for her brother,
That's right.
sister, or parent. All right, but it's
Okay.
probably for Thea. Great name, by the way, Thea. One of our favorite characters in the Arrow.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, wonderful character development.
Yeah, great character development, Thea. Thea, was her last name?
She was
Queen.
Queen Oliver Queen's
Thea
little
Queen
sister.
from the
I
Arrow.
had to think about that.
All right. We're going to answer your question now.
Yeah. Okay.
It depends. It depends on the field office that is processing your case. And for all of those, all of you out there you're wondering how long things take. In this particular case, you can, in all of them actually, basically Google USCIS processing times, and there will be a little box there, and you click on the little arrow. Thea, in your case, you would click on the form I-485, and then there's another box. In that box, you would click family-based adjustment of status, and then the city where you are, let's just say you are in Los Angeles, you would pick the Los Angeles field office, and then it will spit out the number of months that it takes for Los Angeles to process. Now, if I did that and I put Norfolk, Virginia, which is our local immigration office, it would say 16 and a half months to process the I-485. So you can do that with anything. You can do that with the I-130 petition. You can do that with the N-400. And hopefully that will help you all, sort of have a little bit of knowledge as far as knowing how long generally your case is going to take.
All right. Well, she has a follow-up question there. And of course, Thea, the much easier way to do all of this is to just hire us to do it. But that's up to you.
Yeah. So Thea has the transit question. Is it true that it disqualifies you on filing adjustment of status if a person was in transit, then get married inside the United States, or does it apply on C visas only, not B2 visas? Yeah. So we'd have to take a look at the visa category, Thea, to be able to answer that question. And I agree with you. I think she should just call us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We can help you.
That's right. I like the Yankees hat. Cool.
All right. Let's grab another.
Right. Okay. So Ahmed wants to know, I got DQ'd, documentarily qualified 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Good job. Yeah, that's great. How long is the wait for an interview?
So
DQ'd 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations on getting documentarily qualified. That's a relief for people to get that NVC notification. Like, okay, we have everything that we need. You've got all the documents. Just wait for an interview. That is the difficult part here, guys, because there is a backlog on interviews all across the world and all across the U.S. embassies. It's a pretty severe backlog depending on where your interview is going to be. So I can't say how long your interview is going to be. I was talking to one of my colleagues, and she said, and out of Haiti, it was 4 years. Listen, don't get nervous about that. I freaked out a little bit because we don't have any clients from Haiti who are going through the immigrant visa processing, but that seemed really long. Ciudad Juarez is really long. It's years. Manila is really long. Sao Paulo, Brazil. There are some embassies that are super, super long. Some are not, if you're from a visa waiver country, then it's probably not going to take that kind of time. But there is about a 400,000 case backlog in setting interviews in all U.S. embassies together combined. So of course there's going to be many more thousands of cases in some embassies and not so many in others. So it really does depend on where you are. And there's no way to find out how long that's going to take, unfortunately. Thea's setting an appointment. Thank you.
All right. So I'm trying to figure this out. Ms. Wilco here wants to know, what type of forms do you need to file for a child under 18 here in the U.S. in a marriage-based green card?
What type of forms do you need to file for a child under 18 here in the U.S.? Okay, I'm just reading the same question.
I think I understand. I think she's here in the U.S.
The child, yeah.
in a marriage-based. No, she's in a marriage-based green card case, and she wants to maybe file for a child because the child under 18 wouldn't be getting a marriage-based green card, right?
Right. Yeah. So if your child is with you, okay.
Is that
It's
how
a
you-
marriage. Yeah, it's a marriage-based case. If the child is here in the U.S. with you, and if it's a step parent situation, then you, in order for your spouse to file for your child, if it's a step parent situation, you and the spouse had to have gotten married prior to the child turning 18. So hopefully you got married before the child turned 18. If that's the case and the child is here and the child entered with inspection, then there is a potential the child is eligible for adjustment of status as well, along with the primary parent. If that's not what we're talking about here, and if it's your kid is here in the U.S. and you are a U.S. citizen, or a lawful permanent resident, then the child may be eligible for adjustment of status as well. So I would have your case evaluated.
Mm-hmm.
This is super, super important. If your child is abroad, then an I-130 petition is the family-based petition for cases like this. So please talk to an immigration lawyer person asking these very important questions about the child.
You should
super
reach
important
out to somebody. I know a good immigration law firm in Virginia Beach
that serves clients all around the world and
That's
all
right.
50 states. So give us a call, 757-464-9224. I do have a lot of videos on this very topic, so you can check some of those out as well.
Yeah, you're on TikTok, so you can look for those.
Yep. All right. No questions here. So, wait. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah.
Bunny has another question, and she says, I am petitioning my son. He's 19 years old. Do I need to apply for the child protection program to freeze his age? Will freezing his age make the process longer? So Bunny also petitioned for mom, correct? No.
No.
No? No. Okay, you're right. So Bunny, if you're a lawful permanent resident, you just became a lawful permanent resident, and you can file the I-130 petition for your son, but it doesn't freeze his age because you're not a U.S. citizen. But you should still file that petition for your child. The Child Status Protection Act, you can't really apply for the Child Status Protection Act. Basically, are you eligible for it at the time that a visa is available for your son? So, basically what the Child Status Protection Act is if USCIS in a case like this, and I'm going to try to explain it.
Yeah, she clarified it was just her son. That's right.
Just your son is,
not the mom.
Not the mom. Okay, right. So if you file the I-130 petition and USCIS takes 2 years to approve that petition, at the time of your son's visa appointment and NVC, I'll say NVC, when you're in the NVC stage, your son can either remain in the F2A category or be in F2B. Now, there's a huge difference between F2A category, the son of a lawful permanent resident who's unmarried and under the age of 21, versus the over 21 of a lawful permanent resident, right? It adds 10 years onto a case. So if the Child Status Protection Act applies, then that 2 years that it took for USCIS to approve your I-130 petition, they subtract it from your son's age at the time a visa is available. If that age is less than 21, then your son will most likely apply, be able to take advantage of the Child Status Protection Act. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's not something that you can apply for. Now, we talked about step parents, right? If you have, I don't know how you got your green card back, but let's just assume, and this may not apply to Bunny, but this is good information. If you got married to, let's say, your husband, and so now your husband is step parent to your son, and you got married before the age of 18, then the stepchild is treated as, under the law, the same as a biological child. So your husband could actually petition for your son, his stepson, as a U.S. citizen and freeze that age. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Perfect sense. All right.
But I have a slight advantage.
All right. Great question, though. Fantastic question.
Okay.
We mentioned this is not legal advice.
We did. But we should probably say it one more time, and we'll say it probably one more time before we sign off at 1 o'clock. That what we do here is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. It is not.
We're so entertaining.
It's not legal advice.
So entertaining.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's grab a couple questions
Here's
here.
a question over here on TikTok. Can my wife and daughter still visit here in the U.S. while waiting for their Montreal consulate visa interview?
So I answered this question a little bit earlier. It really depends. It depends on the consular officer. It depends on the facts of the case. It depends on when they appear, whether they have that return ticket, whether wife has a job back home still, whether there are strong ties back home in Montreal. So those are all factors. You really have to, your wife really has to go and present both of them and say, look, we're going back to Montreal. We can't stay here. We know what process we're following. We're just coming for a visit. Mm-hmm. If you Google this question, you're going to see a lot of horror stories where people have gotten turned back, right? Because there is this immigrant visa process pending, but that's not always the case. Our clients travel back and forth. You just need to be armed and prepared for the questions, be confident in your answers. It's always a risk though. Under these particular circumstances. But if they can go and say, hey, we really truly are just visiting, we're going back, here's our return ticket. I can't stay here for this whole time. This is a ridiculously long process. I've got to work. My daughter has to go to school, whatever the circumstances are. Just got to tell your story and see what happens. No guarantees though. Yeah,
be careful with what you see online. Radlyn's right. What was the show that our kids watched? The show, it was like an Addams Family Redux. They redid it with
Wednesday?
It was called Wednesday. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, and there's the scene where there's the song Goo Goo Muck. It's an old Cramps tune that they used for the dance scene. Well, I call it the Google Muck because when you get on Google, you find all kinds of things, and half of what you find are not correct. So I would be super careful there. Right.
They're not correct because they don't necessarily apply to you. The people who are posting, oh my gosh, I got turned around and my visa got canceled. Well, what are the facts of that case?
Right. You don't exactly.
And it's kind of like Googling chest pain.
Right.
You're going to die. You're going to have a heart attack if you Google chest pain. So it can be done. No guarantees.
Right.
Proceed with caution.
Okay. By the way, if you have chest pain, you should call a doctor. Okay. That's my personal advice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
unless you got hit in the chest with a football, there's a bruise there.
That's my $1 million tip.
$1 million tip
for today. If you wake up in the middle of the night with chest pain, call 911. All right.
See, you're getting some love for that on TikTok. See he's a doctor, guys, also a lawyer. I'm just kidding.
Or a Cramps fan, one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, Ryza wants.
We're the only ones laughing at ourselves because no one else. We can't hear anyone. I know you guys are all laughing right now.
We need We
A laugh
We
track.
need a laugh track. Yes, a laugh track would be awesome. Okay, Reason wants to know, is it still a 10-year process for my parents to bring my siblings here who are over 18 years old?
It depends on where you're
yeah.
from. I mean, I can tell you exactly what it is. So I have the visa bulletin here, May 2023 visa bulletin. If you don't know what the visa bulletin is and you filed an I-130 petition, it basically tells you when a visa is available for the case.
It. Like we'll be at a restaurant. Oh, I have the visa bulletin right here in my purse.
I know. It's guys, you know, if you go to a party or like a Filipino restaurant or a Latino restaurant or a Korean restaurant, or we eat out a lot. Mm-hmm. And then they know you're an immigration lawyer. You need the visa bulletin. Like, that's right. If you want to be helpful to the community, you've got to have the visa bulletin. All right. So siblings over 18, is that what we're talking about here?
Parents to bring siblings over 18, yeah.
All right. So let's just pretend the parents are U.S. citizens, and these are unmarried children over 21 of U.S. citizens. If you are in the Philippines, it is taking 11 years, sorry. If you are in Mexico, it is taking 22 years. If you are in India, it's taking 9 years. China, 9 years. And all other countries, 9 years. So if we're talking about lawful permanent residents petitioning for their children who are unmarried and over 18 but under 21, we're talking about 2-3 years here. 2-3 years until a visa becomes available. But guess what happens? That 18-year-old, 19-year-old ages out and becomes 21, which puts us into the F2B category if your parents are lawful permanent residents and they are petitioning for children over the age of 21. Now, remember, lawful permanent residents can only petition for unmarried children no matter what the age. So now we're talking about 8 years for all countries, including China, India, and 22 years for Mexico, and 11 years for the Philippines. All right. I won't get into, and then if it's U.S. citizens for married, you didn't mention married, so I won't get into that. So it does take a long time.
So because it takes that long, if I'm sitting here today and I'm going to file something, or I'm going to reach out to Gardner and Mendoza to get some help with filing something, when I find out that it's going to be 10 years, I'm just going to not do it, right?
No.
I mean, what's the point in doing it? That's too long. 10 years, forget it. I'm not doing it.
Now, guys, this is the mindset that we have. We all have this mindset.
That's too far away. I may as well just skip it.
Right. Let's not do it because the lawyer said it's going to take 10 years. So why even bother? Well, you bother because 10 years we'll be here. In 10 years.
For those of you who think that it's so far out, I'm not going to bother. Let me ask you, do you think you'll be here in 10 years? Yep. Everyone who answered yes, you should call us, make an appointment.
We all think we're going to be here. No one's going to sit here and be like, no, I'm not going to be here in 10 years.
So the 10 years is coming, right? I mean, you realize that the 10 years will pass, right?
Yep.
Everybody who's listening to this right now, think back 10 years ago. Were you around 10 years ago? You were. And you're here now, right?
Unless you're 10. Unless you're 10 or younger.
That's right.
You weren't here, but you wouldn't be here if you were 10 or younger.
Right.
See, this is the entertainment part.
This is the entertainment part. So my point is, of course, the amount of time it's going to take, it's the time is the time. So whether you wait 3 years and then decide, oh, we should file it, now you just wasted 3 years. So do it now. Do it right now. Don't stop whatever you're doing, or enjoy your Mother's Day weekend, and on Monday call us and let's get this done. All right.
Let's get it filed.
Let's get this filed.
It's a line mentality, a long line mentality. And what does a long line visually do to us, right? We go by Space Mountain in Disney World. I'm like, oh my, we're not getting in the Space Mountain line. It says it's 2 hours long. Well, guess what's not going to happen? You're not going to be able to ride Space Mountain if you never get in that line.
That's right.
In 2 hours, you will ride the Space Mountain line. And you know what you can do while you're in the Space Mountain line? You can drink sodas and you can eat popcorn and you can go to the gift store and you can have your family hold your place in line. And you can do all kinds of other things, or you can just wait in line and hang out with your friends and your family and have a good time. So that's kind of the same way it is with filing that I-130 petition. You got to get in the line.
Yep.
And the line is long, but guess what's going to happen? You're not literally standing in the line with an I-130 petition. You're living your life just like your family member back home is living their lives. And when that time comes, you will all then be reunited if that's what you want.
All right. Are we all ready to make a promise?
Pinky promise.
Promise that you will take the care of this. I understand it's a Friday afternoon. You can do it on Monday morning. Okay.
You can do it on Monday morning.
And we promise that we will provide excellent value and service. All right.
Absolutely. For you. We all made a pinky promise.
All right.
For those out there who heard 10, 12, 15, 20 years, the time will come here. I never knew. Hey, Lovely. How's it going?
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to all. Absolutely.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. We're not quite done yet. We have 8 minutes.
Yeah. Vanessa has a question here. Let's grab that one real quick. She wanted to know,
getting married this year, should we book an appointment with you now or after we are married? I would highly recommend that you book an appointment with us now, because what if you shouldn't get married? What if you should get married tomorrow instead of sometime later in the year?
Right.
So yes, please give us a call. I always tell people to give us a call before they get married and before they leave the country, because those are 2 critical points. Okay, so Vanessa, we would love to talk to you about you getting married this year or tomorrow or whenever. You know, people do call me Dr. Marriage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you'll know more about that if you meet with us.
Okay, Dreezy10 over here on TikTok says hi. Hi, Dreezy.
Hi, Dreezy.
Says, good morning, guys. Just want to ask what to do and to expect in the interview. More power, guys. All right. Thanks.
So it depends on it really depends on the interview. I mean, what kind of interview is it? If it were N400, I feel like maybe she would have said N400, which is an application for citizenship. Let's just say that it's a marriage-based interview abroad at the consulate, because interviews are waived here right now.
That's right.
You can expect that the officer is going to go over the case with you, not in the detail that you would think. Officer will ask some pretty precise questions, and it will go really fast. And if there is an issue, you'll feel it and you'll know it in your body. From what my clients tell us, and we don't represent our clients abroad in interviews, and lawyers are not allowed, but you'll know it when things are not going right. But I mean, if we're talking about just a marriage-based interview, you should really expect to be able to answer questions about your marriage, about your spouse, where you're going to be living, what you're going to be doing, these general questions. When our clients are done with an interview, we always ask them to please tell us what the questions were. And some of the questions have been things like, has your spouse ever been married before? What is your spouse's phone number? What is the actual address? How many children does your spouse have? What are their names? Have you spoken with them? These types of things. Did you know that your spouse had X criminal charge? And these are spicy cases, right? I mean, this is not necessarily, well, I'm sorry. The criminal charge question is a spicy case. The other questions are pretty typical if there's previous marriage history, if there are children involved. I mean, if you have step children and you don't know their names, or you don't know that you have 3 or 4 stepkids, then that's a red flag. So just know your case, know what you're going there for, and be prepared for with additional marriage documents and proof if you and bring that. They probably won't look at it, but it's always better to be prepared. If we're talking about a fiance visa, you're also going to need that I-134 affidavit of support, signed original. Yeah. General interview tips.
Okay.
All right. Sabor has a question. Hi, I have a B1, B2 visitor's visa. It is getting expired in June 2023. That's coming up pretty soon. I would like to understand if my visa can be converted to a green card permanent residency. Please confirm. Super broad and wide question, Sabor. I wish I could say yes, but the answer is I have no idea. We would have to take a look at your case and see what family members you have here. Are you a person that could qualify for a national interest waiver, a person of extraordinary ability? Do you have an employment opportunity? Are you a country where you can actually invest in the United States on an E2? I mean, so there are so many different aspects.
To be married.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. Now, as a practical matter, you are talking about maybe coming into the United States and doing a change of status to something. Again, as we mentioned at the beginning of this video, when you come to the United States on a B1, B2 tourist visa, you're generally coming in to be a tourist for pleasure or business, right? But you shouldn't be coming in with the intention of converting that into lawful permanent resident status. Intention matters, the intent matters, and be careful with that kind of language. Hopefully that helps. It probably, will give you a starting point that you may need to consult with us. Okay. All right. Got time for a couple more questions on TikTok.
Okay, so we have another question here. And Sabor says, it's the same one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you help in U.S. immigration from Saudi Arabia? We absolutely do.
Absolutely. Yep.
Be happy to talk to you.
We have clients all over the world. Let's see here. Okay. Question here. It's been 17 months and I haven't received my interview. It's a marriage-based case.
Yeah. So again, it depends on where you are. Some cases are taking more than 2 years. Here in Norfolk, they're taking 16 and a half months. So you got to check the processing times. It's not really necessarily a cause for concern that you have heard nothing about your marriage-based. Are we talking about adjustment of status, marriage-based assessment of status case? Because number one, interviews are waived, so you may not get an interview, which is good news. And two, you got to check the processing times because that's what is going to govern around the time when you're going to hear something back, generally speaking. All right. Well, this is time for a last comment, 1 minute. Hi, Attorney Mendoza. Me and my husband were your client, and I just got my green card last month. And thank you so much for a very reliable and prompt help for us, especially Attorney Sampson. We will do it again if we need help in the future. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of that for
all right.
Dom.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting us know. Dom he's an awesome attorney. And if you check out our Google page, and you can see many, many positive things written about both of our attorneys. And we're super happy to be able to help you, Lisa. Thank you so much for hopping on and giving us a shout out, which is a great way to end the live at 1 p.m.
We'll make sure to let Dom know. He'll be happy to hear that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
He's a good guy and a great lawyer. He's a great guy and a great lawyer. All right.
So guys, we will not be here next Friday because John is traveling. And or will we be? No, probably not.
I will not. I will be in transit to see my mother for, speaking of Mother's Day, for her birthday.
What a good son you are.
Yeah.
Anyhow, all right, guys, it's been fun. Thank you so much for all of the amazing questions. Not only did you help yourself, but you helped other people too who definitely have the same questions. And we'll see you next time.
We'll Friday,
post up,
but the following Friday.
Please follow us on Facebook and on TikTok so you can get all of the updates. 2 thumbs up.
All right, 2 thumbs
Thanks,
up.
guys.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.